Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the BJ Show. I'm your host, BJ. We got the round, Anzac round. We got so much to cover with that. Some big winners and some big victories, and just going to wrap it all up. Not as big, small margins, all big margins for this round. Maybe there is a close one. We'll share that. We also will go straight all over to round 8 and also all the latest from the South Australian National Football League. This is the BJ Show for the show. Welcome aboard. If you are new, welcome to the podcast. We also have a YouTube channel. If you can absolutely give this a like and go down below, hit that notification. You do not want to miss a heat. We absolutely have so many fun videos coming your way, all from your favourite sporting updates. So we do have the South Australian National Football League. We'll be starting off, and then we'll go straight into the AFL competition as we've been doing. So we are going to be starting off with the SANFL. All right, so the South Australian National Football League, it is a local competition in South Australia, which is the one of the teams I introduced on it. It's the North Redlegs, and I went to that game. I'm going to break it down. We also will share the SANFLW as they have into their second week. We will share all those results in this episode. So wherever you get your podcast, make sure you keep following the BJ Show in general. You know, there's not just Aussie rules football. We also do soccer, the A-League, the Australian New Zealand competition from the men's and the women's. Association for that. We have the Suncorp Super Netball competition and the NRL, the National Rugby League. So that's also Australian New Zealand competition because New Zealand are part of the league. So starting as I mentioned, the SANFL, and my goodness, what a competition this is in Adelaide. And like I said, I went to the Port Adelaide game. The Reserves also played against North Adelaide. And before we do that, I'm going to drive and share round 1 and round 2 for the women's, and then we'll drive into the league. So 8 teams equals 4 games for the women's, 8 games overall. So from round 1 results, Central District Bulldogs and North Adelaide Roosters, 8-8-56 Central District to 4-5-29. Well done, District. We also, the next game is the West Adelaide Bloods and the Glenelg Tigers. West Adelaide taking a 4-point victory, 9-4-58, defeated 8-6-54. Next one is a draw between Woodville, West Torrens and Sturt. They were Blues 5-4-34, 34 points apiece. The next game, and I think will be the last game, between the South Adelaide Pandas and Lord Redlegs, and it's South Adelaide taking a big win here, 5-10-40, defeated 2-2-14. So there you go. Round 2, we're on our way, and we continue on the SANFLW. Results are only going to be shared, no previews for into the 2026 Host Plus. Host Plus is the sponsor, like the Toyota is the AFL. So this game was between Sturt Duluth and Glenelg Tigers. I can tell you right now, Sturt was coming off a big win after that nice score. So the final score is 9-4-58. Defeated 6-6-42. Next one is the North Redlegs taking up a win here. Beat North Adelaide. North Adelaide 7-3-45. Beat 7-5-47. The next one we have is Central District Bulldogs versus South Adelaide Pandas as they continue. South Adelaide took the win. Central District 1-6-12. Defeated 5-6-36. And the final game, a big win here for the West Torrens Eagles. And it was West Adelaide Bloods 6 minus behind 11-89. Big win there, looking very good with Woodville West Point Eagles. We're all done with that. We're over to the men's competition. Continue. Wow, we got 2 rounds to catch up. So I normally will maybe do the men's competition, but in previews, I think I might just leave it as result. I might just say who I might go for in the following round, maybe like that, but not very tell. So the next one, we have round 3 for the SANFL Host Plus SANFL men's competition. North Redlegs taking a nice win over South Adelaide Pandas, 10-14-74 to 7-10-52. Well done to Norwood there. An effort, all being efforts to West Adelaide travelling down to Glenelg. Glenelg holding a 3-point overall. First goal 7-85. Defeated 11-82. The next game was also a close one. That's a 9-point victory to the Adelaide Coast Reserves. Central District Bulldogs 11-8. 74. Defeated 12 goals. 11.83. And the two more games remaining. There's 5 games overall, 10 teams. Port Adelaide Magpies Reserves of the AFL. They took on North Adelaide Roosters. North Adelaide Roosters took the win, and the final score was Port Adelaide 11-8-74 defeated. North Adelaide taking the win of 14-7-91. And the 2-point game of the round thus far, Sturt double lose to Premiers, and Woodville West Torrens took the celebration. The final score here is Sturt double lose 14-11-95 defeated 15-7-97. Round 4, that was round 3. Into that, and I mentioned we do have one Friday night football, and I'm really happy to share that later between Norwood and Port Adelaide. I think that is actually the game. Well, no Ryan in sight. But we do go to the next game. After that 2 points over the Rain Premiers, Woodville host West Adelaide Blood, and a heavy victory. Final score, Woodville West Torrens 16, 10, 110, 10-9, 69. Next one with a nice overall effort last week against North Adelaide Roosters against Port Adelaide. Unfortunately, against the Adelaide Coast Reserves, got defeated. North Adelaide Roosters 9-6-60 defeated 10-13-73. The next one, and I think this will be a quite an interesting game. We had the 2025 Grand Final rematch. Glenelg taking a big win here, and this is not just a win. It's a win. Final score 9-11-65. Star Blues with Sturt. Its total. Glenelg Tigers 11 goals. Sting 82. And our 5th game for this game, SANFLW Pandas taking a big win here, and they look really heavy victories there. Final score 19 goals by 119 defeated 12-13-85. And SANFLW Pandas getting the win. And we do come to the final game, which is actually our first game, which I want to share now. I went to this game and I thought we will take care of them. First quarter came out on firing, lots of goals. Second quarter was a bit shaky, and it was 3 goals to 2 favoured Port Adelaide. Port Adelaide by 11 points at halftime. Came out of the block, 3 goals for 3 minus, 5 minus to 1 goal, Norwood by 7. That's how hungry Norwood will want to win this. Norwood should have won this very comfortably, but we found a way to really keep Port. So well done to Norwood Redlegs with the win, was followed by Woodville West Torrens, Adelaide Reserves, Glenelg Tigers, South Adelaide Pandas. Now we do come, I'm going to give you a very repeat of what comes. So this is going to be a very interesting round. We have the showdown, a mother showdown between the Adelaide Coast Reserves and Port Adelaide Magpies, Adelaide Oval, Friday night, and this is the Friday night clash, and Adelaide Reserves for me. Next game was going to be interesting, Glenelg over South Adelaide Pandas. This is down at Glenelg Stadium, which is in Glenelg, and I'm going for the Glenelg Tigers with Central District and the Norwood Redlegs. Norwood taking a very over-the-line victory over Port Adelaide. Central District got heavy defeat now. Back at home, they're pretty good. Think it's going to be a tight one. It's going to be a good one. It's Norwood Redlegs. West Adelaide Bloods improving down at overall, and they host the Premiers of reigning Premiers, the Blues. Look, after that loss, you learn from your loss. Step for me. And I hope West Adelaide will bounce back with an heavy defeat over Woodville West Torrens. Eagles final game down at Robo Fit Oval, which is where North Adelaide hosts that game. The Richmond was Port Oval. They host the Woodville West Torrens, where North Adelaide taking a 13-point beat loss over Adelaide Coast Reserves, with Woodville West Torrens taking a heavy beat over the West Adelaide Bloods. I'm going to take the Woodville West Torrens with the win. So my tips are for this one: Adelaide Coast Reserve, Glenelg Tigers, Norwood Redlegs, Sturt Blues, Woodville West Torrens. There you have it. And there you go, all complete. Let's now head to the AFL, and boy, I've got some absolute blown out minds to say about this round. All right, let's head to the AFL. All right, AFL news and update. We here on the BJ Show. We got the Anzac Round. What an absolute beauty this was. Some blown out minds and some close going. Won't that is to come. So, first game, let's just drive into it now. This is going to be quite interesting. Very unusual to have one game before the main event between the Richmond Tigers and Melbourne Demons. But they do their normal schedule having a Thursday night football. Now, well done to Sydney at Marble Stadium, and I'm unsure the crowd attendance. I will share the crowd attendance when it comes on my screen. So while I'm getting that sorted, I'm going to share my game. So how can I relate to this game? I thought it's going to be a lot more closer in my opinion, but it was not meant to be. Credit to the Western Bulldogs. I think they gave it all, but it's great to have footy on a Thursday night. But when you are having a very important round like Anzac, everyone was wanna not really attend. No, I personally did not watch this game, but I think it was a totally blown out. It was 29,000 at 5:23 was the crowd attendance for this game. Now, not overly great to have games like this, but I'll share this a little bit here and there on the AFL app, which is lovely to see it's working and doing its job. So the team stacked just a little bit here and there. So the Sydney definitely won the footy. I think that's a pretty good effort. Inside 50, Sydney just dominated that on their free kicks. There's between 15-27. But the biggest thing is really, I think Sydney lost and the Dogs won. Is total clearance. That's how they won it, but they lost. They minus more. Actually, overall, Sydney were pretty good in that midfield. Total clearances and centre and stoppages. They're pretty even, but favour to the Dogs. But the Dogs only got 22 hit out from 34 clearances. So that means Sydney won it, but Dogs won the footy. That's quite interesting to see. So that me, another thing they really did is like that's 1%. That's another thing. Tackles inside 50s. Tackles were even. 60 tackles each. That's 120 overall, which is a very good effort in my opinion. And I really think that is an effort you can put together. But I am going to say I am very proud to share this stat because the Dogs were overall 60 points from 60 tackles. That's basically one tackle per goal. That's not very good. Sydney are a much better side than this. You cannot do 60 tackles again. That's very low. Some can actually tackle like 80, but 60, it's not great, but it's okay. Sydney new, and I'll go through the quarter by quarter really, really summary in that. So the Dogs came out on top really well. Then 4 goals to 2, then it was 5 goals to 2, then it was goals to 1. So after quarter time, game was over. Basically, during that second quarter, the half time into 3/4 time to full time, the game was a 66-point victory to the Swans. And back kicking, back scoring. That is the biggest difference of this is 36 point shots to the Sydney Swans on the scoreboard to 15. That's a 23 goal set scoring shot overall. It's huge. Go to marble, you want to get accuracy. There's not, the roof is closed. I think it was a perfect night for football. And that's my. Now we're going to share the play of the game. Well, what I was doing last episode, same thing. My top 5 for the Dogs. Monka's Bont from the captain for the Dogs. He includes 114 April fantasy, 2 goals, 29 disposals, 3 5 tackles, and also included with a 5:47 meter game, 23 centre bounce defenders clearance. The next one for the Dogs is Baradale, Bailey Williams, Riley Stanson, Sellinson, Sanders, and the most important one is, I think, I'm not going to give anyone else who dominated. I'm going to give it to Messi Calendar with the last one. So, well done to those. The next ones are the Sydney Swans, are the ones earn a bit more because they wanted it more. That's what happened. But then, the first up is Brody Grundy. 168 for fantasy, 2 goals, 18 disposals, 5 marks, 4 tackles, 35 hit out. The next one is Cullen Winger from the Sydney Swans. 121 over intensity, 3 goals, 3 minors, 20 disposals, 4 marks, 7 tackles, and how many meters game? He's scored a 390 from 2 clearances, 14 centre bounce attended. The next one was Luke McDonald. May not want 1 goal, 1 point. Okay. Now, he hit, well, I could include that one. Who else dominates for the Sydney Swans? Oh, Charlotte Brunel. You can't go past the 8 marks, 7 goals, 15 disposals, 115 A propensity. Jack Lloyd, the next one, 103 A propensity. Include 1 goal, 23 disposals, 8 mark, 3 tackles, and he also had a 584 metres game as well. Give you one more, and I'm going to have to give a can't go past Tom Huckley. And they include 91 A, 23 disposals, 1 goal, 5 mark, goals. He is also called a 5-3, 9 centre bounce tenders, and a 1 clearance. Well done to, if I'm going to just include one more, I would, and a pretty hard pass. I don't know who to include right now. You know, it's pretty hard to dominate with no much layers. I am going to make it all nice. Yeah, I think that's it now. I may put 4 or 5 AFL layers. I did include that one of the players did include April Fancy. I don't know what. Here we go. I did say Luke McDonald had 5 disposals, 2 marks, 6 hit outs. Not much on the ball. Yeah, but he's a very important part. But 26 days. That'll be a little bit my mistake if I did call that on that. All right, on to the next one. This was the Western Bulldogs and the Sydney Swans match review. Lest we forget, Anzac Eve. This is the most important football calendar in the Australian football between the Richmond Tigers and the Melbourne Demons. Now, final score here is 11-6, 72 Richmond, 19 goals, 126 to the Melbourne Football Club. Same scoring, but it was a 54-point victory to the Demons. They have shown, Melbourne has shown how good they can show. Stephen King has totally changed this outfit to winning games, changing the culture, bringing new talent into this team, and he's done that perfectly. I'll be so surprised he does not coach this team to a finals. If not, I am still feel bad. I'm putting Melbourne in 17th. This is going to be this Melbourne Demons are not a 17th team. They have shown they have had some bad moments. They're almost on the bottom part of the ladder, but they have rise. And Stephen King has shown that. You know, it's a very different team, a very different culture, a different atmosphere overall. So, Richmond, summary of this game, they were in the game. They were kicking better. Only 3 goals. So, basically, after halftime, game was in the game. Up to 3-quarter time, they brought to 1 goal to 6 in the final quarter. They were in the game. And this is why I give Richmond a little bit of leeway, because they are in the still rebuilding. But they are showing they can play 3 quarters and a bit, which is the effort in a team that can rise to the cage. You know, it is not going to be easy. You know, gave it all on Anzac Eve. It's okay. You're losing by 9 goals. You don't know what can happen next week. So I will think that Richmond will bounce a little bit better. 1 week at a time. Yes, it is a much better Richmond outfit. They're not going losing by 90 points or any of that. And it's a little bit reducing, that means they have improved. Melbourne, like I said, this is a very different Melbourne outfit than I have seen in years. You got Stars from Revenge. You got former St Kilda Stars, and I'll share one of them very soon. Maybe he's playing his best football under Stephen King, then Ross Lyon. Maybe St Kilda didn't want him, and he goes to Melbourne and shown that he can beat his old team. Now I'm gonna play my best against my team, my former club. They're still good. I respect their club, but I'm gonna respect that I'm playing with new players, and I want to be playing with a really good ruck in match scoring. So, done my thoughts of between Richmond and Melbourne. The 10 stacks for this game. Now, I'm only going to make them all brief and short. Credit. Disposal rate was very even. 343 disposals to 362 disposals, Melbourne's favour. The winning of the footy. We know Richmond's going to get smashed everywhere. But the stoppages, the clearances, and the total clearances were not 20. They were in that game. The only thing that got killed is the ruck. It's the hit out. Because they got a young kid playing the ruck. I will give them more credit than anything. Now, not 18 hit out in a game of AFL level, it's very, very low. So that's part of what you're going to think of as well. Marking. In the game, 71-78 favour Melbourne. Inside 50s, marked, of course, 5 in favour of Melbourne. 11, and contested possession mark with including that 13th to 15th over Melbourne. So, time to time that we know that, about 1%, they're pretty even overall, which are not that overly worried. Let's see the tackle. Richmond let Melbourne have 44 tackles. Between the Western Bulldogs and Sydney game, 60 tackles. Perfect night for football. So I tell you right now, 46 tackles for Richmond. I'll give that credit. For Melbourne, should have got a lot more tackles than that, but they actually lost that stat with the most crucial part of the game. So I give everything respect for the Melbourne, well, not just Melbourne, but for Richmond. So we'll share with each team who plays next week when they take on each other. But the players I stand out for Richmond, Brown. His name is Tom Brown, the defender. 24 disposals, 7 marks, 3 tackles, 94 AFL fantasy. He also included, I said those marks for 23 meters game. The next one, Dynam Pressington, the recruit of for a long time. The midfielder forward include 28 disposals, 3 mark tackles, 99 AFL fantasy. Didn't hit any midfield line yet by clearance, 22 meter centre bounce attenders, and 88 meters game. The next one is the 2 goals, very important for Steph Campbell, including 2 of those 2 goals was 13 disposals, 4 marks, 3 tackles, 75 AFL fantasy. He included 321 meters game. Who else dominates for the mighty Tigers? I may as well give it to, let's give it to Ben Miller. Domination, key defender for the Tigers, include 13 disposals with that 1 tackle, mark 54 AFL fantasy. All key working hard in that midfield into the key defence. That's all he worked on. 13 meters game, 313 meters. Another player we've done for well. Tom Lynch dominated as well. And I think that maybe including Daly Green he also included that 1 goal as well. So that's it for the Mighty Tigers saying those names. Well, this team really did dominate it. And that is Quentin Pickett for the Demons. 131 A4. That's it. 4 goals. 21 disposals. 2 tackle marks. It also included 7 full involvement. 773 meters games, 26% about defenders, 86 clearances. Well done to Quentin Pickett. The next one is the most rooted part of game, which is the most still in the party. 4 tackles, 5 mark, 94 April density, 25 disposals. He also flew 5 game, 20% about 103 clearances. Really good effort there. That's going also, that is my next layer on my screen. Yes, I will include Matt Score, and he got that 1 goal, 1 tackle, 5 mark, 20 disposals, 21 hit out. He also cleared 159 meters game thing. Bounce attendance 5 clearances, with 44 right contact. Out of that was 21 hit out. That's our 3rd player. And the next one is Callum Wingcaston. 25 disposals, 1 mark, 2 tackles, 2 goals, 88 density. We included 553 meters game, 24 centre-bounce attendance, 2 clearances. That's our 4th player for the Melbourne Demons. And I'm going to maybe leave it that. Who else dominated for the Melbourne Club? We will include, maybe going to give it to, this one, Tom Greenrow. So 28 disposals, 3 marks, 8 tackles, 1 goal, 119 AFL fans, polluted, 522 meters game, 22 centre bounce attenders, 9 clearances. Well done to the Melbourne forward midfielder. Well done on your performance as well. All right, let's celebrate our Saturday Super Football right now. All right, the moment we are been waiting for here on the BJ Show for this show. It's Anzac Day here on game number 3. We are in Tasmania in Launceston between the Hawthorn Hawks hosting the Gold Coast Suns. We are at University of Tasmania. It is the name of the stadium between the Hawthorn Hawks and the Gold Coast Suns. Final score 32 scoring shots, 18, which is 9-16, 16, 112, 9963. I thought this game's going to be a hell lot more closer for Hawthorn, running out 49-point victories. it has been a very unusual start coming in for Gold Coast. For knowing that they were going to be a lot more better in season 2026. I have put them in my top 6, leave it as that. Hawthorn, they are looking a top 4, maybe a top 2 finish. They are the team to look out. They at this part of the season. Yes, it's early. Yes, it's unsure knowing where it's all wrapping up. We are coming after 7 rounds of football and we're not almost halfway through the year of the AFL Premiership season. This is a kind of interesting game. Well, I can say right now, who started well? We're going to say right now, Hawthorn start from the get-go. It was windy. It's not Gold Coast weather. And it was just out of control after half-time. Hawthorn scoring from their 7 goals, 50 points. Gold Coast, 3 goals, 6, 24, 26 points in the second half. Standard overall in favour of the Hawks. That is absolute no excuse from Gold Coast. They are a much better team in this. They got their players. They just need to find a way. Yes, they may found an injury here and there. They may missing one of their best stars to look out. I can see it's not their season so far. But can we see a turnaround Gold Coast Suns? We'll see it really soon. I hope to see it very soon. So overall, Hawthorn, the smash and disposal rate, leaving it as that. Hit outs, pretty good effort, all right, but favourites of overall the standard touches of the bounce was favour Hawthorn. We also include time in front. Hawthorn got absolutely destroyed for Gold Coast. 2 hours 50 minutes compared to 116.59. That's huge. So let's just keep that, or maybe 2 minutes 50 seconds. That was 2 hours 50 minutes. So that's by time. Not great. Also tackles. 82 tackles to Hawthorn. 64. Now, between the Hawthorn game, dances over the Swans, 60 apiece. We had the second game, which is the Friday night, between the Richmond Tigers and Melbourne Demons. Richmond were 46 to Melbourne 44. And we blown 82 tackles to 64. So you can look over. That's a very interesting stat. That someone struggles in tackling. Hawthorn are the best tackling in the comp. We're going to have give them that credit. But overall, that Hawthorn wanted it more, and they got it. Players stand out for the Hawthorn Hawks Footy Club. You can't go past the Jack Gunson. 101 AFL offensively, 5 goals, 15 disposals, 9 marks. Next one, we have the Wizard of Nick Watson. He includes 66 AFL offensively, 2 goals, 14 disposals, 5 marks, 2 tackles. The next one came in and he earned his spot with Connor McDonald. 2 disposals, 7 marks, 6 tackles, and as well, 1 goal from that 110 AFL offensively. We're not going to be into how many clearances he had or meters game. I'm not going to do that every time, but that's okay. Next one, we have Jack Gitterman, the former Collingwood Magpie star, including offensively, 1 goal, 16 disposals, 7 marks, and 7 tackles. A very heavy good domination there. That is 1 player. We have 2. We have 3. We got 4. We got 1 more. It's really tough to pick. Really hard to pick. Now, I can't absolutely pick up every nation. I do apologise. But this man deserves a notification. Who is going to get a bit more? This is the man that's going to get it. His name is Mass on the Astro. Hopefully I got that correct. I do apologise if I didn't. He included 24 disposals, 5 marks, 5 tackles, 1 goal, 106 AFL fantasy. The Daniel top best for the Hawthorn Hawks. Gold Coast, who is dominated, who stand out, who wanted it more. Well, I'm going to give it up to Ben Keys. Not best, 3 marks, 38 AFL fantasy, 2 goals and 5 disposals, basically, of that. The next one, what the Gold Coast Suns, it's Prison Pedrata, 106 AFL fantasy, 28 disposals, 5 marks, 5 tackles. Now Anderson comes in next. 100 AFL fantasy with the 31 disposals, 4 3 tackles. That is Sean Anderson. We have a next one. We can't go past the Matt Rowell. 10 tackles, 1 mark. May not have 1 goal, but 18 disposals from AFL 5 fantasy. So we have 1. We got 2. Got 3. we had the 2 goals from the Ben King. That was our 4th one in a row. So we've done one more player. Look, I can't go past too many players, but I'm going to give it to Mac Andrew. Can't go past 20,007 mark, 4 tackles, 96 AFL Fantasy. That is your top 5 from the Gold Coast Suns Hawthorn Hawks. All right, let's get back. We're going from the Marble Stadium, Melbourne. We're going to the MCG for out of so many, maybe how many times that. We're going to Tasmania. We now return to the MCG, where the most important game between the Essendon Bombers and the Collingwood Magpies. Let's go to the MCG right now. Okie dokie. We are the most important Australian calendar here on the BJ Show 40 Show, and I can't believe we're here. This is not a close game. I thought it was going to be a hell lot closer. Essendon and Collingwood go out together in one banner to support the 31st Anzac clash. This is the biggest margin in their history on Anzac Day. This is the normal schedule of 2:50 Australian Eastern Standard Time. This is the most important football calendar with a 77 points defeat. Collingwood absolutely got a victory there. Final score, Essendon 960. Defeated 20 goals, 17, 137. This is not just a win. I'm going to give it congratulations to, well, the most veteran of the Collingwood Magpies, the former captain. He's won his 4th Anzac Day best on ground medal. Well done to the veteran of Scott Pendlebury. But now that's on and out of the way. This game, I did not watch. I was absolutely busy with other commitments. I am fortunately of that. But this was not the game I want to see. You do not want to watch an Anzac Day game when it's this insane close. This was a blow. When you lose by 9 points, Essendon, you got to stay in that confident. From Melbourne to Gold Coast to Collingwood, it's efforts. You got to stay in the game all game. Can't just do a half a quarter or half a. You got to play that 4 quarters. Even Richmond did 3 quarters of football. If you can do that, you've done something right. You do have a talent team, and that's what I want to see a bit more. Right, the next stacks I want to see, that's exactly what I'm going to share. Nice and smooth. Oh, well, pretty good effort. We knew that was going to happen. Collingwood just hit out. These 2 are the worst hit outs teams in the AFL. 29-19. Pretty good effort. For 4 games, well, for overall 2.5 hours of football, you're not even hitting 40 hit outs. One of the worst you can see that these 2 are not got best ruckmans in the competition. But Essendon very much even up the Clearlanders. They lose by 77 points. Painful number. I understand you didn't want to hear that part. And that's football, unfortunately. That part of I'm going to share, which I think really got me up, was the worst tackle team in the AFL. Collingwood is absolute 38 tackles in a game. One of the worst tackles team in the AFL. The worst. I got to say, Richmond scored 46 tackles in a game compared to a team that's supposed to be a top 6 team. You cannot shoot almost 40 tackles a game. Hawthorn are why they're best. You got Sydney. You got the Western Bulldogs. They are pretty, very, very strong in this team. Gold Coast. My goodness, everyone's beating everyone. Essendon won the tackle stat. This is why they're all tackling. 42-38. That's not great. Oh my goodness. Moving on from that. But well done. The overall to the Collingwood Magpies. Reason why they won, because they won as a team effort. They were going to bounce back from their last victory. They got the job done just, and they knew how good Essendon were coming in from that 9-point defeat. They could won that. They were accuracy, and they improved that. Well, I'm going to finish up with the most important part. It's Essendon's best players. Who deserved a player on my list? I've got 5 players I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be sharing. But I would like to do Collingwood first. I'm just going to wrap it in to the Essendon Bombers. This man is one of the best. Essendon should be a best on fairest. But I'm going to share him very, very soon. The next team player comes in. He earns his spot. He is improved to be improvement. Which is Nat Tandy. Well done, mate, on your effort. 12 disposals. 3 marks, 1 tackle, 70 disposals. AFL Fantasy. Wow. That's been impressed. 3 goals. If you hit 3 goals plus another 3, well, that'll be a different story. 50-50 over the ground. 1 goal assist, 7 goal involvement. 238 metres game. Well done to that star future. Next player, I'm going to give it to Dusty Parish. A player's dominated to mark 6 tackles. We have 23 disposals, 69 AFL Anzac. Next one is the captain from the Essendon Bombers, Andrew McGrath. 73 AFL Anzac, 22 disposals, 5 mark, 1 tackle. That's our third player. A third player. Now, a very quiet day at the office, but I'm going to give it to him anyway. Cole Lumford, 89 disposals, 89 AFL Fantasy, 20 disposals, 5 mark, 4 tackles, 2 goals, final player. Thank you very much. This man has deserved it. Archie Wobbett, third best on ground, third 40 plus disposals. Clear has to be one of the top best AFL players going around in the defence. 42 disposals, 92% in defence, 8 at forward. He may not hit that goal. They got 1 tackle, 9 mark, 42 disposals. Henglo 134 AFL 134 AFL Vancity wins. It also includes 707 metres gained, and that's a very heavy 109.24 on ground, and that out of 119 minutes. So that is a 90% game on Bain. He earned his spot out there, and that's why Brad Scott has earned his respect as my Essendon best on ground. Collingwood, he can't go past Collingwood. Why Collingwood? Why? I have got to say, 2 have hit 40 disposals, but not hit tackles. Why they are the worst tackle team coming into this team in this game? Maybe I could be wrong. They may hit 50 last week into 38. Maybe they didn't want to tackle because of Essendon. They didn't want to get a touch and it's a high free. So I don't know why, but you gotta be on it. But this team, this is huge. And I've got my 5 on screen. Dan Houston comes in first. Not a lot of tackles here. Very disappointed. So I'm going to give it, the first up is Dan Houston. 103 AFL Fantasy, 27 disposals, 8 mark. Cool. The next one is the brother as out of the two brothers. The next one is Josh Jacobs. 121 AFL Fantasy, 35 disposals, 8 mark, 1 goal. The next one has hit more than anyone in the game. Our 4th best, it is Lucky Shield. 1 goal, 66 AFL Fantasy with 13 disposals, 4 mark, 5 tackles. Now we come into the next 2. We're done Josh Jacobs, Dan Houston. We're done the most tackles on with Lucky Shield. We got now the man we've been waiting for all day. And we got 242. Oh my goodness, I just can't go past Nick Dacos, 135 AFL Fantasy. Kick straight, mate, you'll win games. 4 minus behind, can't kick straight, and it's 30 points. 42 disposals, 8 mark, 1 tackle, and this is the man we've been waiting for. How many clowns does this Nick Dacos score? 14 score involvement. He scored 1 goal assist. He scored a 745 metres game, 25 centre bounce attenders, 8 clearances. The next team, the next player, the final one, it's Scott Pouncey, 43 disposals, 18 kick, 25 handballs, 10 marks, 1 tackle, 2 goals, 153 AFL Fantasy. He also included 19 score involvement, 2 goals, 386 metres game, 20 centre bounce attenders, 4 clearances for Scott Hennemerry. This is a player can score almost 100 minutes. His pressure act was staying, was not high, was pretty in the greens. So I've given him the Scott Banterberry and Nick Dacos, Dan Houston, Lucky Shield, and I may miss one more, Dan Houston, the top 5. And for Essendon, once again, it is Abby Warwick, Payne Langford, we included Nat Canut, and that's why I may miss one more player. It is Andrew McGrath as well, the captain for the Essendon Bombers with Dudley Parish. So there you go. On to the next game, Saturday night footy. We're gone from the Marble Stadium to the MCG on Friday night in Launceston, Tasmania. Back to the MCG, we turn to the city of Churches, the LA Oval between the LA Power hosting Geelong Cats. Let's go there right now. All right, we got a back-to-back football games, and boy, what a game we have for you. We got the LA Oval, and then we got Optus Stadium First up is Port Adelaide and Geelong. That will be at the Adelaide Oval, followed by, well, Western State, Collingwood, the mighty Fremantle Dockers, and the Carlton Blues. First up, it is at the Adelaide Oval. We are sharing between the Port Adelaide Power and the Geelong Cats. Geelong may not be set today for the beauty. Then Port Adelaide fan ways, not just getting goals, but also points. 13, 17, 95, 10, 5, 6, 5, 30, were 15 scoring distance apart from 13, 20, 17 to 10, 5, 15 scoring shot. The standout from it quarter by quarter, look, Geelong came out and then it was all Port Adelaide after, I think it was anyone's game at half time, and it was basically all over at three-quarter time, basically, I can see it on my screen. The 10 stacks. This is the most important part. And Geelong just didn't use the ball very well. Pretty even on, like, throws ball efficiently and goal efficiently. Geelong's favour there. We have the free kick favour of Geelong. Didn't use them great. The hit out cost them the game. 53-23. That is massive. The next one. Total clearances. Port Adelaide. Centre clearances. Port Adelaide. Stoppages clearances, Port Adelaide. It wasn't even 2 or 3 clearances part. It was 10 plus. Maybe not the total clearances, which is actually, my apologize, 18. So 48, 28. So the next part, really, really interesting to say. It was pretty even in hit out. 65, Port Adelaide, 56 to Geelong. So that was pretty good effort. Marking. That's where really I think cost of Port Adelaide. They will not find the footy, and they know how to bounce back after a 30-point defeat. I think I always say you learn from a win than a loss. The opposite saying, my apologize, it's you learn from a loss than a win. You don't learn from a win. That didn't make sense. Sorry for the confusion. The next part I am going to share is the players. The players of this is really important to me because I love my top 5. The top 5, I think, who stand out for the 4 who actually dominate the tender for each game. Back to shared the Sydney Western Bulldogs game, the Melbourne Richmond game, 67,364. That was the MCG between the Melbourne Demons and the Richmond Tigers, or Richmond Tigers, Melbourne Demons. That is Hawthorn and Gold Coast at University Stadium, 263, 92,231. So basically sold out. Next one is 54,100 for Fremantle Carlton. Port Adelaide be improved. 1,001. One will know how to share this after, and then I'll get players. The West game, 29,070, 32,629 at the Garter for the Lions and the Crows, Brisbane and Adelaide, and final up at Monaco Oval, Giants, North Melbourne, 12,597. That's it for that. Now getting back to the game. Top 5 for Port Adelaide. Jason Horne-Francis, West 1 goal, 128 for offensively, 34 disposals, 6 marks, 4 tackles. He also included how many clearances missed, man? 49 each game, and 12 clearances. That's how he is dominating in this conference. 97 bounce attenders. Well done, Jason Horne-Francis. Mitchin, Georgie Arteles. 116, Ava Vancity. 4 goals and a half with 6 minor, 19 disposals. Well, he had 10 marks, 1 tackle. Well done to the man of Joe Richards. All Globe 1 goal, 20 disposals, 9 marks, 5 tackles. Where's that 1 goal? 106 for Vancity. Well done, Joe Richards. Ollie Rhines comes in net with 7 tackles, 5 marks, 27 disposals, no goals. That's all right. With 103, April Fancity, we are included a 208 metres game, 4 clearances, 17% of bounce attenders, 5 and only. I can't go past Jordan Sweet. Dominated with 101 April Fancity, 12 disposals, 5 marks, 4 tackles, 1 goal. West End Crowd, the ball, 31, hit out. Geelong's best on ground. Let's get to it right now. Bailey Smith, 107 April Fancity, 3 disposals, 7 marks, 3 tackles. We have is Hannah Van Haan, the defender, included 24 disposals, 8 marks, 4 tackles. They came that one behind, but he included 106 April Fancity and a police 8. Okay, next one, Tom Stewart with a 6 marks, but 27 disposals, 94 April Fancity. The next one, Mark Hines, a bit quiet at the office, but that's okay. 79 AFL Fantasy, 25 disposals, 5 marks. The next one I would like to share is Tom Atkins. 9 tackles, 1 mark, 15 disposals, 73 AFL Fantasy. And pretty much I'm going to give it to Jeremy Cameron. 60 AFL Fantasy, 3 goals, 9 disposals, 5 marks. So there you have. There you have it. That is all we're going to be sharing. Let's now get to the mighty Fremantle Dockers are taking on the Carlton Blues. Let's go now to the stadium. Okie dokie, that's where we are. Fremantle hosting the Carlton Blues. The final score 16 goals, 7, 103, 13, 11, 89, 14-point ball game to the mighty Fremantle Dockers. A big win here. They are behind the Fremantle Dockers, but how good they are in season 2025. They are that good. They are looking very much the best of the best. Can they fly into September? The players will be shown very soon. Well, I got to say, it was a bit nervous in that second quarter, but they kicked 4 goals, Carlton. And after that, they kicked, 7 goals. Fremantle, 8 goals. Very much even for Carlton and Fremantle, very even in the second half. But I tell you right now, Carlton did come back hard. They were in that game. That's what they do. They tend to start well and they float off. But not this half. That second half was a really good effort. Fremantle, well done on the win. That was an important win. Now, moving on to my stacks. I mean, talking about this, especially this Anzac round. And it was pretty much under 50 minus the Fremantle to become blue. So that was 484 Fremantle, 356 Bulldogs to Collingwood. So it wasn't 100 points defeat in that stack. Overall, like the concession possessions are pretty much even up there. Pretty impressed. Really, I think that Carlton maybe pretty even. I think, yes, Carlton, they're not greatest in ruck. They get to the ball and they really do win the ball. And that's a good effort. The next part I would like to share is the marking. It's only 18 marks apart. Now that sounds like a big stat. 103 Fremantle, 85. It's basically more points on the board to Carlton. That's still a little bit painful for the Carlton Blues. But they're never giving up. You know, Fremantle are a good team. And I have so much respect for that. And for much and much, I like to make this all nice and short so we can get into my preview. We've done all the crowd attendance. Let's now drive to J.R. Smith. It's the first Fremantle player for this game. 7 marks, 1 tackle, 78 AFL Fantasy, 3 goals, 12 disposals. Then we have the most amazing 8 tackles, 4 marks, 2.2 in goals, 33 disposals, and 138 AFL Fantasy. The former Tiger, the former Richmond Tiger, Jalen Bolton, will dominate 10 scoring forwards, 3 score assists, 41 metres gained, 4 clearances, 18 centre bounce attenders. Well done. And that is my third best on ground. The next one we are going to give it to Luke Jackson. Domination. The 199 centimetre dominated with 6 tackles, 5 marks, 21 disposals, include 135 density, and the most important, 8 involvement, 205 metres gained, 3 clearances, 25 were centre bounce attenders. There's 60 ruck contests from 31, so that's a very good stack there. And the most important, the last one on my, and it's pretty hard. I have not shared this. Mason Cox, the former Collingwood Magpie, joins the Dockers, and he includes 8 disposals, 4 marks, 3 tackles, 2 goals with the 58 AFL Fantasy. I do apologise, I may not share 5 players, but I'll do my best to keep count. Rudy Kemp includes 72 AFL Fantasy, 4 goals, 7 marks, 1 tackle. Nets up. Well, he hit really well. Sam Walsh included 135 offensively with 1 goal, 32 disposals, 7 marks, tackles, 5 marks. Patrick Cribb, 101, AFL offensively, 1 goal, 31, AFL, 31 disposals, well, no 1 goal I just mentioned, 1 mark, 7 tackles, 2 to go, who I think dominated Matt Carwell. 21 disposals, 5 marks, 1 goal, 72 AFL Fantasy. And the final one, I can't go too much about this player, but I think he did well. It's Nick Newman. 22 disposals, 7 marks, 2 tackles, 88 AFL Fantasy. That's what I think We'll be sharing who plays who next week or next round very shortly. Sunday, Super Football Ticket Sunday. We've got 3 games to share. Let's get into Sunday football. All right, let's now drive to the Marble Stadium. Then we'll drive to the Gather and then over to Canberra. So first up, we head to Marble Stadium between the St Kilda Saints and West Coast Eagles, and I'm not going to share too much of this, so let's drive into it. This is the biggest margin for season 2025. St Kilda absolute put West Coast to a absolute lesson here. Final score 2011 143, defeated 5-12-42. St Kilda took 101 point victory, which is the biggest margin in season 2026. What can I say about this game? And I tell you right now that West Coast came out all right, then they just look a bit flat, West. I know they are in a rebuilding, and this is what you do when a lesson. You learn from a win, you learn from a loss. Hopefully, some bounce back. And they started well, West Coast, but they just absolutely have gone out their shell to not even making an effort. St Kilda are a very good team, and I'll give them that bet. Just losing by 1 point, they're going to come out and win by, I didn't bet this much, but actually win. So, and they did. So, the stats for this, I don't think there's not much share in a way. Our disposal was pretty much St Kilda's way. Hit outs. St Kilda and West Coast are the worst hit out team in the competition. Under 30 hit outs a game. Overall, like the contested possessions and uncontested possessions really fail off St Kilda. Turnovers, well, that's favoured to West Coast, like minus that mean thing. In the set, pretty much same marking, all a bit better than other teams, not even scoring, even 70 marks. So give them that credit there. All time front of half all West Coast tackles. Again, 45 tackles compared to 82 tackles for a game. That's awful. So it proves to me that I don't think St Kilda were overly that worried about we're not going to come in hard. We're going to play our brand of football and, make a risk-kick goal. And, and they did that perfectly. So, overall, I think St Kilda knew they're going to bounce back. Have one of the best. They've got one of the best and the best tacking to go for goals. They're one of the best goal teams in the AFL, in my opinion. But they have to play this for 4 quarters against some tougher opponents. They did that against Adelaide in Adelaide. They did that against Port Adelaide. They passed that. They lost by 1 point and they won by 101 points. So basically won by 100 points. Nothing's changed from that. But they did put on a lot more on score. So we'll now share my St Kilda's and West Coast players. I'm going to start with West Coast Eagles, and I will start off with player that I think is stepped up in so many roles, so many decision making in the team. I'm going to give this one to Josh Lindsay, including 31 disposals, 5 marks, 97 disposals. Now he's a defender, so he played more defensive, a little bit of forward, though it's a really important part. Forward score involvements, 451 lead. Game well done to Josh Lindsay. Next one is Harley Reid. Can't go past Harley Reid. And yes, he's had a couple of quiet games, but he's always in the effort with 77 able hands to the 27 disposals, 2 marks, 1 tackle, and a goal. He also played a lot more at forward, and a little bit bench. He also included forward score involvement and 227 meters game, a 23 centre tenders with 7 clearances. So pretty good effort, Harley Reid. This is the man I've been he's been working his butt off during play A3. And William Dersma, he includes 25 disposals, 11 marks, no tackles, that's okay, 103 able fancy. They played a lot of work over and a little bit of forward. No goals, okay. Ball involvement. He scored a 22 meters game, 22 centre bounce attendance and 3 clearances. Well done to William Dersman. That's my third best on ground. The next one I am really going to give it to is Elliot Yeo from West Coast, the forward. Midfielder, the other way. Midfielder forward on the app, AFL app. And 21 disposals included with 4 marks, 4 tackles, 1 goal, 90 able fans. That 6 score involvements, 298 metres game, 18 centre-bounce landed, 2 hit clearances. So Harley Reid and played a very good season, maybe not hit those meters, but his pressure act was right past the green line with the pretty good effort. Still on the low, but that's okay. That's our fourth best on ground, and I'm going to give it to, look, nothing else to say, and most important, it is Lee Jane Williamson, the ruckman from West Coast, the young fella into a 12 disposals, 2 marks, 2 tackles, 6-1 able intensity with the 20 hit-outs as well. We try and share the Saint Kilda Saint. There is so much to celebrate, and this is not just a victory for the St Kilda. In the first up, it's playing them weekly. It might be my best on ground. 16 marks, 1 tackle, 123 able intensity, include 25 disposals. Did he got any scoring moments? He had 5 times of that. He had 187 able meters game, no centre bounce clearance as he played his role in the key defence. Basically, a little bit forward or in the defence. And next up is Rangley Miller Nasher. Name 34 disposals, 5 marks, 3 tackles, 119 able fans. That's 11 score involvement, 4 score in 678 metres game, got 20 centre bounce tenders. Well done to Nasher Miller. The next one, he's kicked 5 goals, 1 close pass. It is Jack. He has shown a perfect season ahead coming into the halfway mark. Includes 39 able intensity with 5 goals, 1 tackle, 3 marks, 14 disposals. He basically played a little bit defence or at forward, 85% of that. 1 goal, 6 for 8 score involvement, 221 weeks game, as well as that 1 clearance. He played a little bit of midfield time. So that is our third best on ground for the Saints. The next player we are going to share, and I'm going to give it to, well, number 2, he is Munkett Winger Her. 25 disposals, 11 marks, 1 tackle, 2 goals, 114 able intensity. He played all his time at forward, but 50 more at the defence side, include 5 score involvement, accuracy was 100%, 626 metres game, 11 centre bounce attended 2 clearances. And then our final player, so we have the Higgins, we have Wickley, we have National Winklet Miller, we had Winger Her as our 4th player. Now, can't go too much bench can win games. So this man right here, he can play midfield, he can play forward, he can play a little bit of bench, but his name is Matt. Matt, he has Philip included for that star of 18 disposals, 2 goals, 7 marks, 5 tackles, 103 able intensity. He played a 50-50, white forward 57% at forward line, half and defensive half. Line is 43%. He had a 72 disposable patiently from 5 contested sessions, also 50 from 50 from scoring shot, 1 goal assist, 8 more involvement, 393 re-game, 3 centre bounce attendance, and 1 clearance. So this proves that West Coast have got a long way to go. St Kilda are on the absolute best team in the AFL. They are flying. They are working their boats off from learning from that loss, and they proven they can play footy. Now let's get to the next game, which we're going to the Gabba in Brisbane for the Brisbane Lions and the Adelaide Crew. Let's go there now. Second Sunday afternoon football at the Gabba in Brisbane. Very warm day on Sunday afternoon football with 1 game to remain. We'll then hit to between the Giants and North Melbourne Blues. This game was all basically about Jordan Dawson's return and how much that it was not an easy game maybe for him, but it was unfortunately that the Lions have bounced back from that 2-point loss. They won by 52-point winners here, 19 goals, 13, 127 defeated, 11-9. But I think Adelaide came out pretty well. I think they started slow, and I think the motions are hitting in, and I'll share more coming up in a very important game for the LA Crows, respectfully, if he does play in the next important game of the season. But how much did LA claim? I think it was pretty good effort overall, but it was the third quarter cost us the game, and that was everything was over. And in the final quarter, we kicked 4 goals to Brisbane, 3 goals. So overall, it was 6 goals, 5 to 5 goals. Very much that was an even quarter. The team stats for this team was playing Brisbane under 400 and LA Crows was 353 disposals and 397 disposals to the Brisbane Lions. The free kick, 18 apiece, 36 overall. Very good effort. LA Crows are a much better hitter. They basically lost everything, but only by 15. It could have gone a lot worse, and 15 is quite bad. But centre clearances 2 minus, 16 to 14 pound of Brisbane. That's 1 minus. And then stoppages 13. Very similar to the total clearance. So unfortunately, that even with centre clearances was pretty good. Total clearances, yeah. Overall, it was all Brisbane. It was all Brisbane. Time. The last, even tired of the final quarter overall. Marking, if you hit 100 mark, if you are under 40 marks overall, that's all right. But and I'm very proud that Adelaide did hit 97 mark. Unfortunately, Brisbane are a better marking team. Inside 50s, expectation marks. They're pretty even. I think under 10, you're done pretty well. Even 5 and under is even better. So, Adelaide only had 2 hours, 31 minutes in their forward half and only scoring 11 goals. Brisbane had all the time in their life and taking 20 goals. Well, I got to say, Adelaide won the tackle. That's shown pressure. They want to come out and tackle. 54 to 45 against many Premiers. Brisbane are good for a reason. Why they are the Premiers for a reason. They were a bit shaky early, Brisbane. The first 7 weeks, they were a bit shaky. They burst and they got beat against Melbourne. They beat other teams, but they got their team back together, hopefully, and hopefully to see them in another granny final. But still way too early to say that. For Brisbane, overall, it is quite painful for me as a Crows supporter, to see it is a big loss. It is a big loss, but we move on. Yes, it is the biggest loss for the LA Crows in 2 seasons, and we don't really always want to hear that kind of report, but it is. And my top 5 players, I've got 3 for the Brisbane line. I'm starting with Brisbane, then I am going to Destiny 100 player really did show it up and did his absolute best as not just the captain, but lead the LA Crows hopefully to a win. But Lachie Neale is the first up for Brisbane. Will Asquith, Zach Bailey, we have Josh Dunkley and Charlie Cameron. No disposal stat. Those are the names. Keeping it that. Next player, next team. We have Roy Laird, Isaac Cummings. We have Michael McMoney. We have McAndrew and Jordan Dawson. They're your best on grounds. Heads up Adelaide. Port Adelaide next week. It is a big week, and I'll share a little bit more in this moment. But I think this is going to be a really important game. Get around you. I know that you're going to do everything you can do, and I know you will do well. So, all the best, Brisbane. Well done on the win. You're a good team. I have respect for you. All right, a final game has arrived. Let's get there right now. All right, final game here on the BJ Show Footy Show. If you have enjoyed, make sure you follow wherever you get your podcast. Hit that like and subscribe on the YouTube channel, the BJ Show. Much appreciated, and thank you so much for watching. There will be videos, so there'll be more to enjoy. The final game we're here in Canberra at the CMOM in Canberra. Let's just say that. And this is a victory to the Giants, taking 15-15, 105 to 14-14, 98. Close game for the round, and maybe even the entertainment of the round by every margin has gone from 66 on Thursday for the Dogs, the Western Bulldogs, and the Sydney Swans, the Richmond Tigers and Melbourne Demons, 54 points. 49 points between Hawthorn and Gold Coast. Essendon and Collingwood, the biggest margin was 77 points. Then we go down a little bit easier, maybe the game of the round by far, but it was between Port Adelaide and Geelong, a big 30-point victory there. Closer then to 14 points we into Carlton, and then we go ballooning up to the second margin into the first margin, 101 points. And then 52 points, and then 7-7. This is what you called the game of the round. Overall, it is a scoring. Overall, it's actually 2 scoring the difference overall. That's how you kick 2 goals to win the game. Well, I tipped North Melbourne. I tipped North Melbourne to win this game. They are very different compared to 12 months ago. They are a very different unit. They got their team together. They now have played full quarters of football. They did it against Brisbane. They go and take on the Giants. Giants, well done on the win. It was a must win. And credit to North Melbourne. That came out early. But it was, well, I've got to say, it was basically, it was the final quarter changed it all. 5 goals apiece by 1 point. Overall, both teams, well, one team only scored 8, with GWS Giants and North Melbourne 7 goals. 7-7 to 8 goals, 8. Margin of 8 points, 56 to 49. Thank you very much. Moving on. Team stack, making this short and sweet. North Melbourne won the 40 a lot more. Okay, next one, hit-outs. Wow, a big one there. Giants won the 40, but total clearances and centre clearances, all North Melbourne. Give them credit to that. Next part is marking, pretty even in marking, but it was North Melbourne winning the 40 a lot more. Inside 50s for marking. Giants did it perfectly. Next one, time in front. Not just Giants really did that, but it was North Melbourne really fighting hard for that inside 50 time. Tackles, very even. The most even tackles since the Melbourne and Richmond Anzac Eve game. 4 marks overall the different favour of North Melbourne. You can see that Hawthorn is the best tackling team for the round. But basically, I can't believe that even we finish this game up very shortly, we're going to do our players first. I think that Giants got their form back in form. Can they continue doing that next round? We'll find out. North Melbourne, this was a lesson learned. Yes, you go to the stadium, you struggle in Perth. Then you come back to a gate, get some good wins, and then unfortunately not as great. All right, time to share the players. The game of the games, and the first up from North Melbourne, and we'll do GWS Giants. Tristan Actor, booting those 25 hit out, 141, 45 AFL Anthony, 25 disposals, 5 mark, 12 tackles, no goals. That's okay. 50 overall. He's for no 8 score involvement. So that's already 210 mid game. 10 clearances. 127 centre bounce attenders. Very well done there. Ashley Sicily comes in 32 disposals, 5 mark, 4 tackles, 1 goal, 113 metres game, 113 metres game. He also includes 4 involvements, 350 metres game, 21 centre bounce attenders, and 3 clearances. Well done to Ashley Sicily. How Daniel comes in next was 104 AFL Anthony, 2 tackles, 30 disposals. He included 5 score involvement with a 707 metres game. Very busy there with 2 clearances. Next one is Luke Parker. 1 goal for him. Well done. 29 disposals for him. 2 tackles, 100 AFL Anthony. We had 70% in the defensive half to 30 in the fourth half. He had 1 goal assist, 5 score involvement, a 501 metres game, and 1 of each of centre bounce attenders and clearances 1 piece. So well done to that, Nick. A lucky, very important night for him all day. Twilight football is 93 AFL Anthony with 10 disposals, 1 tackle, 4 goals. Big day at the office, all at 493% and half, 7%, a little bit there. Well done there. 1 a goal assist, and as well 8 score involvements, 271 metres game, and that's it for that part. That is our 4th player. But we had, I think we've done all our players, and we're now showing the GWS Giants. It is a little bit different here and there. We did it with the St Kilda game, I believe, whenever the other game was, but Toby Green comes in next, then Lockie Hayes, Lockie Wakefield, Colin Oliver, Brett Daniels, and that's it. The first 5 on my all best on ground. Well done. All hitting those really good tackles. And yeah, that's it. All right. Time to now get into my round 8 preview. And boy, now we're going back to normal football for a little bit to Mother's Day in 2 weeks' time. All right. Let's get there right now. And now Anzac Eve to Anzac Day, Anzac Round General is all complete. Thank you so much for an interesting year of football. See you next season. Round 8. Here we go for preview. All right, round 8 previews is here on the BJ Show. Let's dive into it. I'll share the per game who is tagged on who, and we'll go by day very shortly. Oh, right. We have Collingwood and Hawthorn first up. Then we have the Western Bulldogs and Fremantle, followed by the LA Crows and the Port Adelaide Power and the Showdown. We'll share that very shortly. That is the 59th Showdown. We also have the Essendon Bombers, Brisbane Lions, West Coast Eagles, Richmond, to Geelong and North Melbourne, West Carlton and St Kilda, Sydney Swans and Melbourne, and then Gold Coast and GWS Giants. So the most important is this is the first game, Thursday night football. It's going to be a good crowd. I reckon it'll be 75 to 80,000 at the MCG. Collingwood Hawthorn. I'm going for Hawthorn. Double Friday night. I'm not a fan of this, and I don't like when it is an important game like a showdown. So the first up is the Western Bulldogs, Free and Tall. Both teams are a bit shaky. Should I go for Free and Tall? They look a bit better on screen, but the Dogs got this absolute demolish. Do they bounce back? Do they absolute bounce back the Western Bulldogs after a 6-day break? Fremantle also be coming off a 5-day break. But I think the Fremantle Dogs would to win this game. I'm going to go and share the next one. It is Showdown 59, emotional week for our the LA Crows captain Jordan Dawson, giving us that as respectful. We have the LA Crows taking on Port Adelaide. Port Adelaide taking on our big winners over Geelong by 50 points over the very, very improved Geelong Cats. A bit unusual, the 2026 so far. The LA Crows getting a 52-point defeat. Who is going to want it more? Who wants it more? Adelaide Crows will return back to Brisbane and Port Adelaide staying in Adelaide for this game, even if it's the Adelaide Crows home game. Adelaide Crows will be coming off a 5-day break compared to Port Adelaide 6-day break. Sticking to the LA Crows, you can't go past your own team in this. Marble Stadium, first of Super Saturday footy. We got 1, 2, 3, 4. Great to have 4 games. Used to have 5, but now it's been to 4 games since after COVID. It's complete. So the Essendon Bombers and the Brisbane Lions. Brisbane Lions can't go wrong with that. Taking 52 points there, 77 points. Defeat to the Bombers. Thinking as that. West Coast Eagles and the Richmond Tigers. Now, the price, this is going to be a very shaky, and I'm glad this is an afternoon, not evening game. And I'm really backing up West Coast. Now, knowing that I like to see a draw, I'm backing as a draw, but now I'm going for West Coast. I think West Coast will bounce back. I think they're better on paper. You know, they've got some great core, respectful for Richmond, but it's going to be a bit unusual. I'd love to see this as a wrong. I really want to see Richmond to win, but not easy in Perth. So West Coast for me. Next up, we have Geelong and North Melbourne. Now, North Melbourne be disappointing for the 7 points defeat over GWS Giants, which I did tip North Melbourne to win this. I had confidence in them. Geelong will bounce back from that 30 points. They do that all the time. And Aiden, you know, if you're on this episode, you will know all about it. Now, I'm back in North Melbourne. Well, not North Melbourne. I'm back in Geelong to win this. And hopefully Geelong will bring that sexy football. Well, guess what? Carlton St Kilda Saturday night footy. Now, we were at the GMHBA before and then Optus Stadium. So, for those games, the West Coast game was in Optus in Perth and then GMHBA Stadium in Geelong. Now we're at Marble Stadium for the second time for the round since the Essendon and Brisbane game. Well, Carlton 14 points in the West defeat. St Kilda 101. Can't go past St Kilda with the win here. Next one, we're going to have to go. This is going to be an interesting game. We only got 2 games on schedule, which is the Sydney Swans, Melbourne Demons, and the Gold Coast Suns and GWS Giants. Now, one thing or another, how important these 2 teams for the win, very much similar margins. One was 66, one was 54. Put that together, you got 114 points. The difference, well, they're about to 120, wherever the margin. Big winners, similar margin. I'm going for Sydney with the win. Last game, Gold Coast Suns will bounce back. Oh my goodness, it wasn't that they're very good at home. You can't go past with Gold Coast at People's First Stadium. Sydney Swans will be playing at the SCG. Now, get back to the Gold Coast Suns and the GWS Giants game. Now, Giants, good win, heavy win, just over the line. But I think Gold Coast Suns to be safe. Wrapping up who I'm going for. Hawthorn Hawks. We have Fremantle Dockers, Adelaide Crows, in the Showdown 59, Brisbane Lions, West Coast Eagles, Geelong Cats, St Kilda, Sydney Swans, and Gold Coast Suns. That's the wrap. That is the wrap. Thank you so much. If you absolutely love today's show, you can't miss too much as the announcement is very close to being announced. Yes, why I'm saying that is why it's a close announce. Well, the news is coming. You want to follow on Instagram and Facebook. The BJ Show for the Facebook. Same logo as usual. And then the BJ Show _23. It's the Instagram. Thank you so much for listening. We will see you on the next one. We're signing out. Cheers. Bye for now. Thanks for listening. Cheers. That's all, folks.
Bye.